My name is Laura Faree. I want to thank you all for joining us today. I am very excited to continue this 8-week virtual series with you all. As we get started, I would like to give you a little background about myself. I have been with WellSpan for 4 years, working as an exercise physiologist in our outpatient rehab with our WellFit program. I'm also a part of our WellSpan Sports Medicine, which is why I'm here with you today. The pandemic that we are experiencing now has challenged us with many ways to become more creative on how we can help the community. We have put together a small group of diverse and experienced and motivated individuals to continue to make a difference, to be available and help those like yourself. Our goal with the series is to support you as an athlete during this pandemic by providing education and resources to help you stay active, take care of your body and mind, prepare for your upcoming season, and prevent injuries as we begin to do more. Today, I have the privilege of introducing our guest speaker, Mitch Crawford. He will target the topic of substance abuse. Mitch is the Director of Addiction Services, serving the entire WellSpan system, but is physically located at WellSpan Philhaven in Mount Gretna. He's been working in the career for 5 years and employed by WellSpan for the last year. We asked Mitch what got him interested in sports medicine, and he responded by telling us he has been an athlete his whole life, including now. As a psychiatrist, he's very interested in the connection of the mind, body, and spirit in regard to human performance. Mitch is originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and his favorite sports team is Tottenham Hotspurs, the English Premier League soccer. Before he gets started, I want to address a few housekeeping items. We will have a Q&A session at the end, and you will participate by submitting questions throughout the presentation or waiting until the presenter has finished. If you have not done so already, please mute your computer at this time for security purposes. The host has the capability to unmute the participants as needed. Thank you. And now I will let Mitch take over with his presentation.
Great, thank you so much, Laura. I'm gonna try to share my screen here so you guys can see the slides as we go through them. Perfect. Laura, can you see the slides correctly if you nod your head? Perfect, okay, great, thanks so much. So I really appreciate that really kind introduction. It's so nice to be here and so nice to be involved in this wonderful project. So I am a psychiatrist by training, and I'll talk to you a little bit about addictions. Some of the material here is one of my colleagues and I put together, Ponta Farman. She's at New York University, but we're friends and colleagues, and we share information. So I have no disclosures, which is an academic way of saying that no pharmaceutical companies or anyone else pays me to produce their opinions, and I have no money invested in companies that have any interest in anything we're talking about. So it's my way of saying to you that everything I share with you is based in science and medical opinion. And so I think it's important to start these kind of talks off with a bit of background to orient us. And so present here a picture of someone who is pertinent to what we're talking about now. Is at that time was a 17-year-old multi-sport athlete, was probably most involved in soccer, sustained multiple knee injuries, and then had one that required a surgical intervention. And so at that time was started on some opioid medications, was struggling with some other aspects of their life, ended up having a lot of trouble stopping the medication, increased to use of heroin, first by sniffing it up the nose and then injecting it. Had multiple attempts to reach a sort of recovery, as we call it in the addiction world, of being abstinent or not using substances, and had success at times, but unfortunately died from an overdose that involved opioids. And so there's a couple reasons I share this with you. One is that it's an athlete, and one that it's the worst outcome there can be. And to sort of lay the stage of how serious this is and why we want to share this with you, to provide you with the information about how serious this is, and then also to share with you guys that this is my sister. And so to let you know that addiction can touch everyone and at any time. And so you may be asking yourself, what are we going to talk about today? So we'll talk a little bit about what addiction is. We'll talk about a little bit about addiction in the adolescents and some risk factors for opioid use disorder in athletes. So we'll blaze through these first two slides. What is addiction? I just want to show you some of the like hardcore academic definitions. And so there's two main bodies in the addiction field. One is the American Society of Addiction Medicine, and the other one's the American Academy of Addiction Psychiatry. And they both work together, and everyone has the same goal. This is one definition. I personally really like this definition because it talks about that it is a disease. It's a medical disease. We actually see changes in folks' brains when we image them with CAT scans and with MRIs. And so it's changing the way their brain works. But then I like this kind of encouraging statement here that prevention efforts and treatment approaches for addiction are generally as successful as those for other chronic diseases. And so if you think about addiction being a disease, you understand that, well, if we treat it the same way that we treat diabetes or high blood pressure, there's similar outcomes. So folks can do really well in treatment. The second definition here is one from what we call the DSM, or the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which is the big fancy book that allows psychiatrists and therapists and other folks in behavioral health to give diagnoses, to essentially take the experience that a human is going through and put some sort of label on it so that we can talk about it and we can guide treatment based on it. So these are 11 items here. You need 2 of them to meet the diagnosis of a substance use disorder. And we're not really going to go through them, but you can certainly ask questions if you have any at the end here. I want to make sure we have enough time for that. So we'll talk a little bit about substance use in adolescence. So we're looking at folks who are around like 12 to 20. Some definitions go up to around 24, 25. This study is looking at high schoolers, so it's very pertinent, and it may be something that you think a lot about. Cigarettes and alcohol are substances that we think of and know that people use a lot. And so alcohol, thankfully, is on the decline for folks who are in high school. So you can see the different colors here, and you can see the trends going down, both in use throughout the year, and then in binge drinking is also decreasing. So we can certainly talk more about that. Binge drinking, for folks who are unaware, is rather than, for example, if you had 10 beers in a week, you may have 2 beers per day for 5 days, or you could have 10 beers all at once. And so your blood alcohol level, the amount of alcohol in your system, if you drink all those 10 beers at one time, is much higher than if you had smaller amounts over a longer period of time. They both have detrimental health effects, but one is more acutely, or at the time you're intoxicated, more dangerous, because the higher your blood alcohol level goes, the more that you are liable to make poor decisions, get into motor vehicle accidents, to make poor choices, and also to risk death. So you can die from alcohol poisoning. Another thing you're probably more familiar with now is vaping. And so we're seeing a decline in use of cigarettes, or what we call combustible tobacco products, and a slight decline in smokeless products like tobacco that you chew and put in your mouth. But we're seeing a really high increase of vaping. And I imagine that a lot of you are seeing this in your schools and amongst your friends. And I really want to encourage you to think about what's actually happening here. So when you're vaping, you're actually putting in a lot of toxic chemicals in your body, depending on what's in the fluid. And depending on the kind of temperature that the heating elements are at, dramatically changes the compounds that you're inhaling into your lungs. And there's even more recent studies showing that there's heavy toxic metals that are starting to be leached in. Some products have formaldehyde in them. which is what we use to preserve organs for like dissection in the anatomy lab, for example. So there's a dramatic increase, and we just want to raise your awareness about that. And then we're also seeing a dramatic increase here, guys, of vaping of THC. So THC is tetrahydrocannabidiol, and it is the one of these psychoactive components of marijuana. And so when we think about pulling THC out, there's a lot that we could talk about there, but I want to share with you that it makes it more risky. And so folks in this age group of high schoolers are really seeing a dramatic increase in the amount that they're doing this. And I really want to caution you about that, because these are the reasons that folks are saying that they're trying to vape THC. And the number one reason here is to experiment to see what it's like. So this is a survey that went out to high schoolers, and they were describing why they tried it. And because it tastes good and to have a good time with my friends. And so what this tells me and my colleagues is that folks have what we call an idea that there are a perception that there is a little harm involved with doing this, especially if they're just trying it. And what I was getting to earlier, and what I want to caution you about, is there actually is quite a bit of harm, and we're understanding this more now. Because you in this age group are still growing, and your brain is still growing. And we and most folks know that the brain doesn't finish growing until about age 25. And so what's happening is that your brain is growing, the structures are changing, the tracks, the way that the parts of the brain talk to each other are forming in ways that they're reinforcing or building up and becoming more powerful, or being pruned. It's just like if there was 10 things in a row and only 5 of them were supposed to exist, you would take 5 out. And so that's a really delicate balance, and that's happening this entire time. And when you introduce substances that the body is not normally exposed to, you interfere with that pruning process and with that reinforcement process. And we're seeing now in studies looking at folks who are adolescents and have had only 1 or 2 exposures to marijuana, that they're actually seeing differences in volume in structures of their brain. And they're postulating, again, we're just seeing this right now, but they're thinking that those changes will have long-term effects on folks and may cause lasting damage. And what I want to encourage you to think about when you're thinking about marijuana is a lot of people are familiar with their, my grandparents smoked weed, for example, is something you may hear. But the products that were out, 30, 40 years ago are much different than what we're seeing today. And so even in the plant product, like if you just took marijuana, the plant, and smoked the plant, a lot of the plants have a much higher concentration of that THC compound we were talking about, where it may be double or triple as much as what your grandparents were using, if they were using, for example. And so the effect and the risk is much higher. We can certainly talk more about that if folks are interested in what those risks may be. But I want to get through this so we have a significant time for questions. So maybe asking yourself, okay, so what's happening in our region? So this is the folks who are using illicit drugs, meaning illegally, either it's an illegal substance to use or they're misusing a prescription substance. And in Pennsylvania, we're actually doing okay compared to the rest of the country for folks age 12 and older. We're right here in the middle. It's just what the white means. If you look at folks who are just 12 to 17, so really what we're talking about with you guys, this is actually quite good. Compared to the rest of the country, Pennsylvania is doing really well. And when you look at methamphetamine, and I share that with you because you can see all the red here, the majority of the country is really struggling with methamphetamines and other stimulants. Again, we're doing pretty well in Pennsylvania, which is encouraging. But where we're really struggling right here is with heroin and opioids. And you're probably familiar with that. And so this region, the northeast part of the country, is really, really struggling. Red here is the highest percentage of folks. And just really briefly, not going to talk more about this, but Opioids are substances that hit what we call the mu opioid receptor in your brain. So that can be anything like oxycodone, it can be methadone or fentanyl or buprenorphine, the medications you may be hearing, but it's also things like tramadol. If you've heard that or you hear that's getting some attention in sports right now. And again, just highlighting, it's not just folks who are misusing opioids, it's actually folks that are dying. And so this is something in academia that we call a heat map, which is looking at a geographic region. So this is the United States, and we're looking at how often something happens. And on this time, unfortunately, in this case, it's fatal overdoses involving opioids. And you can see here in Pennsylvania, we're right up in the highest in the country with the amount of times that this is happening per 100,000 people in our region. So why am I really zeroing in on that, and why am I really zeroing in on opioids is because the DEA, so the Drug Enforcement Agency, and the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, have really been putting out a bit of like a heads up, like, hey guys, we have to pay attention to this. That a lot of former opioid or current opioid users are current or former athletes. And it used to be thought, even when I started my training, that being an athlete was a pure protective factor, meaning that, you know, it pretty much was going to make everything in your life better. And not to say that being an athlete isn't a great thing. I'm an athlete. I've been an athlete my whole life. I'm still an athlete and I still compete. But we just have to acknowledge this new risk that's involved. And where is this coming from? I'm sorry, I skipped ahead one slide. So we'll get to that in just a second. But in this, it's gaining national media too. So I could create many, many slides of these. These are just a couple headlines that are picked off as it goes from, you know, the science and people urging it to getting out to the masses. So where do we think this is coming from? We think that being an athlete has these three components that introduce us to this particular type of vulnerability with opioids. And so one is access, one is injury, and one is pressure to perform. So injury first, no surprise to anyone here on the call that athletes get injured, right? It's part of the game. We try to limit that as much as possible in many, many ways, but it just is a reality. And some of those injuries require surgery. And some of those surgeries require pain medications. And we really have been getting better at recognizing the ability to limit the amount of pain medications and to do so more safely. Because we know that the CDC in this study was reporting 1 in 15 folks. Some other studies are reporting 1 in 8 or 1 in 10 people who are prescribed an opioid will at some time have trouble with it or develop an opioid use disorder in their life. So that's the injury component. Pressure to perform. So we all feel this, right? Whether you get butterflies in your stomach or you just really like to do your best and you put that pressure on yourself. Some folks really feel strongly that they're going to be letting people down if they have a bad game. If they get injured, that they have to return back to play right away. Their team needs them. If they don't come back, the team might lose and it's going to be their fault because they got injured. And so folks may be taking opioids to try to return back to play earlier. Or folks sometimes will take opioids in what's called achieving painless play. So acknowledging that they are going to be going into like a high contact sport, for example, and they know that if they have a contact with someone that is painful, it may influence the way that the rest of the game goes. And so they'll try to medicate before, which is extremely problematic. I'll tell you that the reason we have pain is a warning system for us to acknowledge when something is wrong. And so when you take that element away from your body, you can risk some pretty dramatic and severe injuries, aside from it just being a bad practice to get into in regards to opioid use disorder. And the last one here is access. And so access could come from the fact that you may be in a high contact sport that has higher injuries. It could also come from the fact that a lot of times athletes are in higher social status and higher social circles, getting invited to events that other people may not. And then there's also this idea that sometimes there's what's called like a maladaptive subculture, which is just a fancy word of saying that athletes are sometimes invited to like parties where people are going to be drinking alcohol, or parties where people are going to be sharing medications that they shouldn't have access to or are not prescribed to. And so I share this with you because those are the risks that have been identified in the literature so far, connecting and understanding more about why this vulnerability may come about for us who are athletes. And it's so important that the NCAA has put out this substance abuse prevention and intervention and athletics toolkit to help guide us, both players, coaches, trainers, everyone involved, athletic directors, about recognizing this and helping us to be better in this space. And I won't, of course, go through all this with you. I just wanted to share this really important point that came out, that return to play decisions should be determined by medical professionals, not the athlete, coach, or family. And understanding that if you or one of your colleagues, your teammates is injured, that it can sometimes go deeper than just the physical injury for us, right? I'm not sure how many people on the call have been injured recently. It can really affect you. It can cause people to have a lot of problems with their mood. It can cause them to lose some friends, feel like they're not sure who they are anymore. For example, if you were, hoping to, be offered a Division I scholarship for your sport, and you got an injury that you couldn't physically perform your sport anymore, that could really cause some identity issues for folks. So, just being cognizant or recognizing that that could happen to you, and being prepared if that would ever happen, but then also thinking about if you see that happen to any of your friends or your teammates, to recognize that it may be helpful for them to reach out and just see how they're doing, just check in. And really, that's where I want to stop, so we have enough time to chat. This is my email address. So if anyone has any questions and they want to be in touch with me after this presentation, please feel free to do so. And I'll stop there. And thanks so much.
Great presentation, Mitch. Thank you. We have a few questions coming in. One is, as an athlete, if I had concern for a teammate going through something, what would the steps be to take for that?
Great question. Great question. So I would say, depending on what your comfort level is, you could always reach out to them. And what I wouldn't advise you to do is I wouldn't advise you to confront it directly. I would advise you to just check in with them, like I said before, and just say, hey, it seems like maybe you're having a tough time. How are you doing? And just, in a caring, non-judgmental way, just kind of see what's going on in their head. I think another really important part, and definitely do this if you don't do anything else, is to share your concern with your coach or someone that you trust. I would hope that's your coach, or maybe your parents as well, and really get that connected with an adult who can help you.
Okay, thank you. Another question we have is, are there any tips on how to turn down if something is being offered at a party? If a student is going to a high school party and they're being pressured by some of their students, their classmates?
Absolutely. Yeah, great question. I'm so thankful you asked that, because that's actually something I work with on folks. It's not if, it's when for a lot of us. And so it's really helpful to have that kind of canned response that you can just fall back to. For example, one of the things I would say is, oh, hey man, I'm just really not into that. I got to get up early in the morning for X, Y, and Z, or I got to drive home, or whatever it's going to be. Think about what you would like to respond back with before it happens, so that when it does happen, you're prepared. A lot of good examples that, people give, or, frankly, you can just say no. But a lot of times that can be difficult for folks, especially in social situations. So having some sort of reason why you can't can be helpful to make it more comfortable.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any more coming through right now, but give me a minute here.
I don't believe we have any more questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Crawford. That's some good information. Obviously, some important stuff that anybody that's on here, and obviously lots of high school and young athletes go through. So certainly important information to put out.
Great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Laura, do you have anything else to follow up before we start with the workout?
No, we are good to go, Zach.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Crawford.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right, guys. So we will get started with, it's Monday. We got week 3 of our workout. We're going back to the bench. So we got a bench or a chair, something you can do some step-ups on. And we're going to get right to the workout. I'm going to screen share. Go right to it.
Hey guys, my name is Sean O'Malley. I was a senior at York Catholic High School. I plan on going to Penn State Maine University to study in pre-med, and I was involved in track and soccer throughout my high school experience.
Hey guys, I'm Anthony Brown. I went to York Suburban, and now I'm going to SUNY ESF, and I'm going to continue my basketball career. And while in high school, I played volleyball, soccer, and basketball.
Hi everybody, it's Zach Miller with WellSpan Sports Medicine. We have Sean and Anthony with us today, and they're going to take us through our workout today, where the only prop you will need is a chair or a bench, and we got 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. We got 4 rounds, 4 exercises per round, and of course we're going to start with our movement prep, dynamic warm-up. We'll go through the workout, and then of course end with the always important cool down. So here we go. Let's start 30 seconds of jumping jacks. Go for it. Go ahead, nice and controlled. Get those hands up nice and high. Finish strong. Three, 2, 1, good. Now we got our inchworms. We're gonna walk it out. So going down nice and controlled, go for it. Stretch those hamstrings out, walk it out. Dropping down to your stomach, flip those feet over, press it up, stretch that lower back. There you go. And then come and walk it all the way back up to your feet. Nice control. Embrace that good stretch in the hamstrings on the way back up too. Good, right back down. Control it on the way out. Down to your chest, press it up. Feel that good stretch, go ahead, walk it back. Feel that good stretch on the way back up as well, good. You got 3 more of those. Good, 2 more. Good, the last one, make your best one. Control down, stretch it out. Good, pressing through the hands. Control coming back up. Good, let's go down to our hands and knees. We got our thoracic rotation. Good, hands right underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're going up and twisting to the side. Eyes follow that hand. Feel that good stretch in the lower back. Good, coming back down. Thread the needle, passing it through. Touch that shoulder to the ground if you can. There you go. Good, right back up. Same thing. We got 4 more of those. Good. 4. Nice and controlled the whole time. If you're feeling a stretch in the shoulder, you're probably doing too much. Make sure you're trying to stretch through that mid-back. Good. Last one, make your best one. Good stretch, thread the needle coming down. Here we go, switch sides. Good. There you go. Good, 3 more. Two more. Last one, make your best one. Open up, stretch through that mid back, control it coming down. Touch that shoulder to the ground if you can. There you go. Stay in that position. You're gonna kick one leg out to the side from the kneeling position. Good. Try and sit up nice and tall. Make sure your toes are pointing forward. That looks good. And from there, we're gonna rock it back. Feel like you gotta sit back onto your heel. Then power it up coming forward. Squeeze through the hips on the way up. Good. Coming down, power it up. There's 2. 3, good. 2 more. 4, 1 more. Good, switch sides. Good, feel that good adductor stretch in the groin. There's 1, 2, 3, 2 more. 4, make the last one your best one. Sit it back, strong coming up. Good, right into our 90-90s. So, sitting on our butts. Give yourself some room here, good. Legs shoulder width apart. We're gonna start going to our left. So rocking to the left, trying to get those legs in a 90-degree angle. That looks good. Rocking back the other way. Use the hands if you need to, especially for the first couple, till you get to loosen up a little bit. Good, going back to the other side. Try and turn that shoulder, try and get yourself facing forward. Good, rocking back the other way. Looks good. Keep it going. Switch, yeah. Rock it back to the right. So let's do 1 more each side. Sit into it this time, sit up tall, get that spine vertical, feel that good stretch, good. Coming back to the right. Stretch it out nice and tall, stick that chest out. Good, there you go. All right, then top up, we're going right into the dynamic warm up. We got arm circles, just 10 forward. Go, switch, go in reverse. There you go, nice and controlled. Get that shoulder joint warmed up. Good, we're going to basically some calf raise, but we're gonna get a little rock to it. So pressing up through the toes, then rock it back, pull those toes up off the ground. Good, up, pull up through those toes, there you go. Good, there's 5, we got 5 more. 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one, make your best one up tall. Good job. All right, let's spread out. Opposite sides. We're going through Frankenstein walks. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Tap. Good. Switch it out. There you go. Good. Same thing coming back. Let's go opposite arm, opposite legs. Good, we got our hamstring scoops. One foot's coming out in front, pull that toe up, rock it down, scoop it through. Feel that good hamstring stretch coming up through the back of the leg. That looks good. Same thing coming back. How you guys feeling?
Good, pretty good.
Getting loose?
Stretched out, yeah.
All right, walking lunge with a twist over our front foot. So a big step out, twist over our front foot, control it, good, and switch. Looks good. Of course, making sure our knee doesn't go way out in front of our toes, keeping everything in line. Same thing coming back. There you go, finish strong. Good job. All right, we're gonna challenge that balance a little bit. This is our single leg deadlift, so you guys can face the camera, good. Still, whichever leg we wanna start with. We're gonna extend out, hinge through the hips, reach out if you can. Good, coming back up, knee to chest. Good, stretch at the top. That's all right. If you lose your balance, that's completely fine. Right back into it. Good, airplanes coming out. Knee to chest coming back up. Good. Right back into it. Keep that balance. Squeeze that glute on the leg you're standing with. That'll help you keep your balance. We got 2 more. Out, lock it in. Knee to chest at the top. Good, 1 more, make it your best one. Good job, switch legs. You may notice that you have one side that feels stronger than the other or is more balanced. That just lets you know what you gotta spend some time working on to correct it. Good, if you can, feel like you're gonna try and keep those hips level as you go into this position. Try and keep the hips level so you're not opening up too much. That looks good. 1 more. Good job, guys. How you feel? Nice and warmed up?
Yeah.
Ready for the workout?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're ready for our 40-20 workout. We got 4 rounds, 4 exercises a round, 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. All you need is a bench or a chair, and we're ready to roll. All right, workout starting in 10 seconds, get in position. We're starting with our squats. So, tapping that butt down onto the chair. 2, 1, go. You got it, nice and controlled. Pressing through those heels. When you come down, don't let those heels come up off the ground. You want to press through those heels the whole time. Legs shoulder width apart. Looks good. Keep it up.
Halfway there.
On the first exercise, you got this. Good, guys. Finish strong.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Good. Next time, we're gonna lay down in front of the bench. You can go right here. Yeah, be good. Just lay out that one. Good. We're doing some elevated bridges. So legs bent, and you're gonna press up through those hips. You can put your heels up on the bench here. Good. So 3, 2, 1. Pressing those hips up towards the sky. Control it coming down. Good. Nice, slow and controlled the whole time. When you get up to the top, lock that position in place. Tighten that core. Tighten those glutes. Control it coming down. That looks good. Keep it up. Try and keep those feet pointing straight up towards the sky. Keep those toes pointing towards the sky rather than rolling out. There you go. Evenly push through both legs. Finish strong.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Good. Hopping back up to our feet. We got our step ups. So nice and controlled coming up. Stepping right back down. Let's come to the side. There you go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good. We're going 20 seconds, go with the same leg the whole time, and then we'll switch halfway. There you go, get those arms involved. Good, yeah, as you come up. There he goes. Arm nice and tall at the top. Looks good, keep it up. Finish strong.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Good. Take 20-second rest. We got incline push-ups next. So, you stay on that side. We got incline push-ups going to hands down on the bench, repping out some normal push-ups that way. If those are too difficult, you can always drop down to the knees.
2, 1, go.
Nice, slow and controlled the whole time. We got 40 seconds, so don't tire yourself up out right off the bat. Good form, core staying engaged. Good. If you're starting to feel fatigued, you can stop and hold it in that position. Let your muscles relax for a second. Keep it up, boys. Doing good. Finish strong, push it.
3,
2, 1,
rest.
go. We got 1 minute break.
All right, we got 1 minute break. Round 2, we got jump squats. Going back to the bridges, but this time we're going single leg. Step ups, we're doing lateral step ups, and another round of the push ups. So grab a drink, get ready for round 2.
All right, 10 seconds left, doing a rest. Let's get in position. We got squat jumps to start off round 2.
3,
2, 1, go. Good. Focus on form the whole time. Land soft. Good. You got it. You got it. That's fine. Gain composure. Good. Think soft landing. If you're hearing a loud thumping when you land, try and control it, sit into it, use those strong hips to help you out. Good, guys. Finish strong.
3, 2, 1.
Good job. Down into the bridge position on our backs. We're going single leg this time. So get in that position. We're going knee to chest. The leg that's not up. Perfect. And when we're ready, we're going right up into single leg bridges.
3,
2, 1.
go.
Oh, good. Pressing through the feet. Squeezing those hips at the top. Locking in at the top. Good. Make sure you're keeping that toe pointed straight up towards the sky. If it wants to roll out to the side, try and fight that. Looks good. We're gonna switch halfway. Go ahead and switch. Right back into it with that other side. Good. Make those hamstrings work. Finish strong. Keep it up.
3, 2, 1. Rest.
Good. 20 seconds rest. Next we got lateral step ups. So we're going from the side, power up, lock this position at the top, control coming down, right back into it. Again, get those arms involved. 2, 1,
Go.
go, good. We got 20 seconds, then we're gonna switch legs. Good, really try and lock that position out at the top. That looks good. Good, keep it up. Halfway, we're switching.
Halfway there.
There you go, switch legs. Make sure that whole foot is on the bench, good. There you go, looks good guys, control it the whole time.
3, 2, 1. Rest.
Good, catch your breath, good, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we're going round, last, another set of our push-ups, our incline push-ups then. Again, pace yourself. Start nice and slow and control. That way you can finish strong.
1. Go.
Good, let's see it. There you go. Form looks good. Elbows staying in towards the side. You don't want them to flare out wide. Keep those elbows tucked in. Squeeze those shoulder blades down and back. Looks good, guys.
Halfway there.
If you're struggling with that at home, don't hesitate to drop down to your knees. Make it a little easier on yourself. Finish strong, guys. Push it, you got it.
3,
Good job. You got 1 minute rest right into round 3.
All right, you got 30 more seconds to catch your breath. Then we're going into round 3. We got rear foot elevated split squats, one of my favorite exercises. We got elevated bridges again. We're doing them a little different with our legs straight. We got some crunches with our legs up on the bench, and we'll end with some tricep dips.
Ten.
10 seconds, get ready. We're starting with our rear foot elevated split squats. We got 1 foot back on the bench.
3, 2, 1.
Maybe hop forward a little, just so when you come down, that knee's not coming out. Maybe hop forward 1 more step, good. That way when you come down, that knee's not coming out past the toes. Good, nice and controlled. Don't worry about how deep you're going right now. Just worry about controlling the movement. Making sure you're letting that, go ahead and switch. Go 1 small step forward, hop forward, there you go. Make sure that knee is tracking over the toes, make sure it's not turning in too much. 2, 1, good job. All right, 10 seconds to our next exercise. We got our bridges, so hop down on the ground. We're going straight leg this time. So, you have both legs on the bench, legs straight.
1, go.
Power through those hips, lock it out the top. Squeeze the core, squeeze those hips at the top. Lock it in for a second, good. Let's rest that head down. Good, there you go. Relax that neck a little bit. Looks good. Keep it up.
Halfway there.
Good. Again, make sure those toes are facing straight up towards the ceiling. Don't let them turn out to the side. Equally pressing through both legs, same amount of pressure. 2, 1. You're gonna stay in that position while you rest. Because the next one we got our crunches. So scoot a little closer towards the bench. That looks good. Knees at 90 degrees or close to it. And when we do it, we're gonna start normal crunches coming up. Make sure you're not pulling on your neck.
1, go.
Good, there you go. Either crossing the arms or right behind the ears. There you go, pace yourself. We got 40 seconds, nice and controlled the whole time. Looks good. Again, relax that neck. Try not to press it forward.
Halfway there.
Finish strong, boys, looking good. It up. Good, you can hop up from that position. You got 20 seconds of rest, and then we're going into our tricep dips. I got you here. So tricep dips, right on the edge of the bench, hands on the bench here, nice control coming down, strong pressing up at the top.
3, 2,
Go for it.
1, go.
Good, locking those elbows out the top, give those triceps a good extra squeeze. Looks good. If you need a little bit more of a challenge, you can straighten those legs out. That'd make it a little harder. There you go, I like it. If that's too hard, keep those knees bent up. If you need even more work, you can try and lift one leg up. What do you guys got? There you go, fight it, finish strong. Good work, finish. 2, 1.
Rest.
Good job, good, 1 minute rest, and we got round 4.
All right, 30 more seconds, and we got round 4. We got another round of our rear foot elevated split squats. This time, we got the option to add a jump in, as you'll see in the video. We got our bridges again, and then we got our crunches, but we're throwing a twist in there this time. And then we got our step ups to finish it off, and then we'll end with a good cool down. Finish strong, last round.
All right, game position, last 10 seconds of rest. We got our rear foot elevated split squats again. 20 seconds each leg.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good, nice and controlled. And we're gonna challenge these guys with a little hop here. Nice controlled. Try and land in that same footprint if you're throwing the hop in there. And control that landing on the way back down. There you go, I like it. You guys can handle it.
Halfway there.
Good, switch. Good, finish strong. You got it, push through it, guys.
2, 1.
Last one, good. Take a break, take a break. We're going down on the ground, we got our bridges. We're going straight leg again, now we're going single leg. So opposite knee coming up towards that chest, that looks good.
3,
2, 1,
go.
good, press it through the hips, lock it in at the top. Lock that position in, good. Don't rush through these, nice and slow and controlled. Good job relaxing that head down, that looks good. Good, fight that foot from one to turn in, there you go.
Halfway there.
Switch, right into it. Good, you guys got it. Keep it up. Finish strong.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Good, we're gonna stay in that position. We're just gonna slide a little closer to the bench. We got our crunches. This time we're gonna throw a little twist with it. So, feel like you're going towards that opposite knee. We're alternating, one to the left, one to the right.
2, 1, go.
Good. Don't worry about how high you're getting up, just worry about controlling that movement, keeping that core engaged to protect that back. Looks good, no pulling on that head. You gotta fight through it. This is a tough one.
Halfway there.
If you're struggling with this at home, just go right back into the normal crunches. Good, fight that burn, guys. Finish strong, finish strong. You got it. Keep it up, 2, 1. Good, good job, take a break. Last one, we're gonna hop up. We got our step ups. Last exercise, we got this, finish strong. Step ups into a runner lunge. So as you step up, lock that position in place. Get ready, get in position.
2, 1, go.
Same leg for 20 seconds. You can leave that foot up on the bench. Good. Lock that position in at the top, right back down. Boom. Good. Last exercise, you guys got it. Finish strong. We're switching right into it. No waste of time. Boom. Good. Last 20 seconds. Doing good, guys. 2, 1. Good job. Take a quick break, then we're getting into our cool down. Sorry. All right, we have our cool down. We're gonna start with our little yoga flow, our downward dog to the prone press up into the child's pose. So I'll let these guys show us how it's done. We're gonna walk it out into the push-up position. Then pull it back into downward dog. Good, just hold that stretch there for a second. Press those heels down. Good, rocking it forward into the prone press up. Press through those hands, extend through that back. Good, then rock it back into child's pose. Good, feel that good stretch. Good, we got 2 more of those. So bring it forward. We're going pressing up into the downward dog. Sit those hips up and back, press those heels into the ground. Good, walking it forward. Prone press up. Good stretch, open up the spine, and rocking it back into the child's pose. Good job, because he's taking that good deep breath. Good, one more time. Downward dog, feel that good stretch, control that breathing. I like it, in through the mouth, or in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, rock it down into the prone press up. Last one, sit it back into the child's pose. Good, sit up there. We're gonna kick one foot out in front for our pigeon pose. Good, use those hands to help you out, especially if you don't have that flexibility in the hips. If you need a little help, you could always throw a pillow underneath your hips there to give you a little more support. Try not to bounce too much. Nice and controlled. Good, let's switch. Good, sit that straight leg back, or the back leg straight back. Good deep breath. Good, let me get one more good deep breath in through the nose, out to the mouth. Good, we're going to our hip flexor stretch. So go into that lunge position. One leg out in front. Good, sitting up nice and tall. Tuck those hips underneath you like you're tucking that pelvis. Should feel that good stretch in the back leg. And then arms up overhead. And we're gonna stretch over that front foot. I'm gonna have you come to the left. Yeah, Rashad, there you go. Feel that good stretch, good deep breathing. 2 more good deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, sink into that stretch a little deeper on your last breath here. Good job, let's switch it up. Good, making sure you're not getting that knee out past the toes. Tuck those hips up underneath you. Good deep breathing. 2 more good deep breaths. One more, sink into that stretch, a little deeper on your exhale. Good job. Good, all right, we're going right into that pretzel stretch. So we're gonna sit down on our back, lay down on our backs. Good, we're going right leg first. So right knee coming up, fall to the left, pull down with that left arm, right leg, or left leg coming back, grab it with the right arm, you got it. And sink down into that stretch, pressing that right shoulder into the ground. Good deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sink down in, good. One more good deep breath. On exhale, sink into that stretch a little deeper. Good, let's switch. Good, left leg coming up. Let it fall to the right. Pull the bottom leg back. If you can, good. Stretch through that mid back. There you go, that looks good. 3 good deep breaths. Good. Last one, in through the nose. Exhale, fall into that stretch. And relax, go ahead, come back to the middle. Perfect, stay. Last one we got, we're gonna stretch out our chest and our shoulders. We're trying that reverse prayer stretch. So trying to touch those hands together in the back. Try and press those palms together if you can. I know that's tough. And we're gonna hold that position. Stick that chest out a little bit. Stretch that chest out. Let's do a couple neck circles here. Just soft control rolls. Good, switch directions. Good, open that chest up one more time. Good, deep breath in. Exhale. Good work.
All right, everybody, good workout. Good way to start off the week. The rest of the week, tomorrow we have our coaches clinic with Dr. Crawford to be back. Wednesday, we have a good total body workout plus those plyometrics. We're going to keep working on those plyometrics. We got rest day Thursday, and Friday we'll be back with a really fun full body workout and cardio focused workout with Laura running the show. So definitely tune in for that one. And just also to mention, Fridays now. Friday is going to be our day that we're going to start giving away some gifts and some prizes. So make sure you're on all week, but especially Friday, and then you can get a chance to win some prizes. Big thank you to Dr. Crawford for joining us today, giving us a great speech. And big shout out to Sean and Anthony for killing that workout. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, and keep up the good work. Bye, everyone.